All right, so let's proceed to actually creating your web application. So here in the navigator, we have the mobile applications, web applications, service connections, and everything else we saw in the welcome page. Let's just go to web applications and create a web application. So add here. So here you specify your application name. So for example, this is in an event registration application. Then we have some templates here if you want just a simple blank template or a tab template, for example, if you have several pages or flows, for example, this is home, this is list or something, and about. You can use that, but just to keep it simple, we'll use the blank template for now. So just use none and create. And then VBCS will automatically create the base for your application here. So let's discuss the basics of the UI for designing your web application. So here on the left is your application navigator. So here's your application. Then you have your flows. By default, it'll create a single flow for your application, which is the main flow, which has a single page, which is your start page, main start. By default, when you create your application in VBCS, it will define main-start as your starting point for when you run your application. So it's kind of like your home page or your index page when you start. And here we, aside from flows, we have resources. So here's where you can put some components, custom components. Images you may use in your application, your CSS, strings, and some other root pages. But for now, we'll just use the main.start. And here we have the main-start page. As you can see, it's blank. In the left part is the component palette. It contains some default components you may use in your application. For example, headings or text fields, images, buttons, some input fields for your forms, some collection objects, tables or list views, and other things you can use for the layout of your application. So, so for example, if let's say we're going to create a page to display the list of the participants that we already have in our business object, participant business object. So to create that, we can, for example, to put components in your application, it's as simple as dragging and dropping. So for example, I'm going to create a heading, just drag and drop to the page. Here we see the heading. And here on the right side is the properties of the selected component you're currently inspecting. So for example, I'm inspecting the heading. You have the general, some default fields you may want to edit. For example, the text, participants. Let's set it to participants. Then your header size. So it makes it really easy for you to quickly create a page. If you wanted to, if you were so inclined, you can. If you see here in the upper right side of the page is a button with the name code, and if we click this, we can actually go into the code view for the page. So if you're familiar, if you really want to get into the code of your application, you can do so, but let's keep to the drag and drop first.